All right. It's been a while. I want to say either was it the beginning of December or late of November, I think was the last post before silence, or if not silence, before the break. I do want to start off this stream with a quick rant though. I can't 100% this game because the game crashes whenever I try competing against the computer, and I've done all the other trophies in this game except for that one, and it's been 3 weeks. Kind of want to do a review on this game because this game was my game of the year last year, but it pisses me off the fact that I can't 100% it. That being said, though, like here's I did everything else. We'll just I haven't done I haven't done all the time trials yet, and I haven't tried out all the cars. Obviously, the main reason why I picked up this game is because of this. But um, yeah, outside of a couple cars, I haven't really played with everything. Anyways, I want to get started with talking about the plans for the channel and more specifically the plans for this year in general. As it's a big one because I've decided to once again go all out and try something big. And obviously, last year I started off with the making the videos that were mostly satire in terms of like just parodying specific um, ideas from that the YouTube AI would give you to make as a YouTube video. And that is fun. That is something I will continue doing. I've also been looking at some other stuff regarding basically like I feel like it right now it's a smart idea to try, and I know I've made a couple videos talking about it before, but have some other methods of making money outside of my normal job, specifically doing something that I enjoy, and art is probably the best bet, considering that that's the thing that I not only enjoy the most, but I also, it's connected with the music that I love, and as much as music is fun, I still need to, I still need a break from it. I'm gonna start another project at some point, but right now my idea is to officially start. I get it's not like business is such a big word, but it's not. It's that, but it's also not that. Like what people normally tend to think of what a business is. But my Instagram page will be the spot that I'll do album art or artwork, whatever. $50, you get 3 different ideas, depending on the request. If the request is very specific, you're probably not going to get 3 separate examples, but if it's broad enough, then I could probably give you 3. But yeah, $50 for 3 examples. I think it's a good idea just for the sake of it's it's some money that I can make. It's not charging too much, and you get more than what you get more than what you would normally get. Um, you get to keep all 3 examples too, so it's not like you choose one. You're paying for the 3. You'll get the 3 unless it's something very specific that I could only generate 2 or 1 specific example. But for the most part, I think it's pretty easier to do 3 separate examples. And that's the first part of the plan. I have a post on my Instagram. For some reason, I think it's the people outside of my profile that liked it were drawn to the electric gospel cover album art. So that's another thing I want to talk about later on. But yeah, apparently only Christians like the post. So obviously the next idea or the next action that I need to take is to start making TikTok advertisements, and I'm actually gonna have a separate TikTok page for that specifically because I have other plans that I don't think I'm ready yet to announce, but I'll tell you like a little bit of what to expect further down the line. But right now, it's the main thing is to get the album art or the art commission thing out there so people know about it. Hopefully get some customers. If I get some customers, then it will kind of get me ready to go into the planning for the next announcement, which is essentially going to be the subscription I launch, or okay, it's gonna be, so I know I've talked about this before about, having all my content on full display without copyright restrictions on subscription platforms. And I think that now is the time to start doing that. I'm not giving up YouTube. The idea that I have in mind specifically is to basically have two separate um, two separate content hubs, I guess. So YouTube would be obviously your whatever I feel like posting. More specifically, the stuff that I tend to like the more recent content, the stuff that's like parody of other YouTube content. That will still be on this channel. But I was also thinking about also everything that gets released on here will also get released onto the other platform. And on the other platform, I want to just cover everything music related with actually having the music playing. And as someone that's like, music is literally my life. I've been inspired by other creators that I've either, bitten the bullet and will accept copyright claims, but also they have like Patreons and stuff like that. Or I could just go full on, have that content on a different platform. And the problem that may arise, but I'm also excited about, is if I actually do get people to pay for that, I would be making like, I don't know, maybe 3-4 different kinds of videos a week. That might be a stretch. Maybe about 3 videos a week, if not 2. But it would range in terms of it would range in the length. I wouldn't make like long videos. Long videos would be like, I would try to do long videos where one long video would be out probably either, I don't think I would have time to do it on the weekend. It could be like, it'd be either at the beginning of the week or at the end of the week. I think at the end of the week makes the most sense. A YouTuber that I've been watching a lot recently, which he has one of the hardest last names to pronounce, but Anthony Gramulio, I think. But yeah, he has his upload schedule as he would do one almost all the time that the videos would be, he would have one video out on Friday, and then he would also do a live stream. And I'd also try to work in live streaming too with that. But more specifically, I would like to have I'll have the long video out. My idea for that type of content specifically and I've talked about it before, is breaking down all of the albums that have influenced me. And I have two separate topsters for that specifically because I have like my favorite albums at the moment, and then I have the albums that influenced me. I have a poster on my wall that's not every album that influenced me, just because I had to trim it just to fit on as a poster. But we would be going, the long-ish videos would probably be just kind of deep dives into the albums themselves, as well as, talking about the importance of them. But the problem with that too is that there's just some albums that you can't stretch out a long video to talk about. So realistically, it really depends on the episode of that video of how long it is. If it's not long, then I could probably get, two other videos done. And if it is long, well, you still will probably be looking forward to two other videos. Just that won't be as long. In terms of live streams, I feel like I've been thinking about how to go about them, considering that the number one thing that should be brought into the discussion and the overall content is just discussion with different kinds of music from other people in general. Stuff that like Critical Reactions does, which I absolutely, I appreciate that. And I like to have those conversations, especially just even like he has like these like album clubs where they're like arranged by other people, where it's like a book club, but people like share their albums and then they talk about the albums. Stuff like that would also be really cool. The thing is that it wouldn't be like I wouldn't have it like set up specifically like that because that's done through Discord, and Discord is a headache and a half. It would be more like his live streams where they people submit music for him to react to, and it's less of a discussion. It's more just like, he fits whatever he can say about that song in the time he has. And as much as I want to do that with albums, I just don't think it's possible unless people actually have the time to, which could be, I don't know how many hours. Another thing to think about is just by time wise. I know a lot of YouTubers tend to like film their stuff very early in the morning, and that's not something that I can do. So I think realistically it would just be like submit your songs. We would like build up a list. If I think the list is good enough that in terms of length, it'll be as long as whatever, finish all the songs, have our discussions about the songs. I like that idea. And that's really what's to look forward to this year specifically. Like I said, the main plan is to get the art business up. Once that starts doing numbers, then I'll start advertising that. Now, here's the big problem that I've looked into. Now, obviously, I know that I think I'd have to look at the content, quote unquote, guidelines, but I doubt there's probably any guidelines to this. So I looked into what would be the definitive platform to do the subscription content. And funny enough, if you didn't know, it's OnlyFans. And the one thing that's cool about this, or not cool, the one thing that's ironic and funny about this is that you can basically I can turn this whole content creation thing into a joke just by the platform itself of what it's normally associated with. The bad news is how many people would actually want to subscribe to the content just based on what is on that platform. So, it's a double-edged sword. I think as a, what's the word? As a test demo, quote unquote, I'll try to do like a tongue-in-cheek TikTok post about it. And, you know, if there's people that are concerned about it, then, you know, I'll just switch to Patreon. But keep in mind, if you actually look at the payouts, OnlyFans is the best for that. So I think it would be funny, and I think it would be beneficial on my part. Also, they have specific, like you don't only have to post videos, like you can actually post audios there, because that's the main reason why I thought about it too, was just because some people actually do use that platform for music, as you know, other people have done it with Patreon. So it would be easy on that part too, because I can just any new music upload it to OnlyFans, and for the videos, you know, they're there. I know that they also I know there's a whole photo thing. I think I would just use that for teasing the artwork for the music. But yeah, from what I've looked into, I think that would be a really fun idea. Essentially what you're getting is like Wyatt X Him content mixed with Critical Reactions content. Yeah, I think you pay like $10 a month, and you get like 3 videos a week. I think that's a pretty good deal. Yeah, I think that's, though, sounding it out loud, like, yeah, I had these thoughts in my head for a while. I have not discussed this with anybody. I will be discussing it with another person, but just the idea alone, I think this would be a lot of fun. The only question is, will this be practical? And if it doesn't work out in terms of everything, well, then I'm gonna have to eventually surrender myself to you gotta keep posting consistently on TikTok just to get people to go to your page. And while it is annoying, it works in the end. And it's really stupid, and I really disagree with the fact that basically your whole business strategy is following what like OnlyFans creators do in terms of TikTok wise promoting. But and there's also music artists too that have that stuff too. But like, if you're already an established artist like Nothing Nowhere, trying to promote, if you're new and trying to promote your new music specifically, and you know, a lot of music sounds the same, especially just on YouTube. YouTube's bullcrap with their discovery playlist and getting like 7 bands that all sound the same. Like, tell me the difference between Mama, Soft Cult, what were the other bands? Just other bands. Like, yeah, well, they're good listening to them separately, but listening to them one after another, they all sound the same. So that leads me to my next spot. The next music project is something I've also been thinking about. I need to think about how it could be relevant with TikTok, but I also want to make music that I enjoy. So I'm not gonna like sacrifice, you know, basically the integrity of the music just to have it on TikTok. It's more or less just how can I develop this I well, I guess develop an identity surrounding the project, as well as how can I make this music relevant. So I've been thinking about the genre, and if you haven't heard the new Fork Breaks China EP, I got a new instrument. I'll probably be talking about it more or showcasing it more in some other video. But essentially what it is, it's like a keyboard, but it's in the shape of like a keytar, and it has like two different instrument like options. There's like the neck of like a guitar, which would be like the your strings, and you can play it like a guitar with like they have like a button for like the strumming. However, they have like a piano side on the head of it that you can change that to, I don't know how, I think there's like 12 different instruments, and that's why you were hearing like chiptune, organ, and all that on there. So I've been thinking about like what would what kind of music would I make? Just by the awful state that specifically the states are in right now, I think slowcore is probably the best. And I've been listening to a lot of like I don't know what what it's considered exactly. Um, I guess some DSBM, but more specifically like whatever. There's this artist that I've been listening to that they make black metal. I think it's called like Troa or Troya something. Absolutely incredible black metal. That also has a lot of like DSBM to it. And as much as I really would like to, scream, I I've always been more into the dark nature, or even just the subdued side of music. I love post rock. Post rock is my second favorite genre, as well as the instrumentation from DSBM and scrams and whatever, that I essentially want to do. Like, I guess it's like slowcore, but it's probably gonna fall in line with DSBM in terms of music wise. I haven't decided yet if I want to do singing on it. I think you kind of have to if you're doing TikTok. It really doesn't matter. It's really interesting with TikTok because you can even people that haven't done singing, they still have like their TikToks that like their music is still technically, they get plays, but then they like, yeah, so I don't know. I think really at the end of the day, it's gonna be, I'm gonna have that conversation with myself whether or not, maybe even some tracks will have singing on it, maybe some tracks won't have singing on it. But regardless, I think the world needs it more than ever. They need that music to prepare themselves for the inevitable of more tragedy that will come. And it sucks. Everybody just wants to live their life, but it's complicated right now in the States, so I don't know. And I think that's it in terms of conversations of what to expect this year. I will definitely keep the channel updated in terms of when the when the other content platform decides to be, or whenever it's finalized, really. Because yeah, I'm saying OnlyFans right now, but if it's a bad business tactic in general, or in sorry, in the long run, then I'm just gonna switch to Patreon. Regardless, you're still getting the content. It would help a lot though to be able to get paid the $10 a month, because I do think that it would help me a lot in terms of just the whole being able to make more content is the number one thing, but in general, like, it's just specifically, I don't know what to expect in this coming year. I don't know because I mean, yeah, I'll be able to get my money back by summer, but I don't know the purchases that I have to make or whatever, mandatory purchases specifically. And a lot of the time it has to do with my sister's education. But in this case, it's more or less just like I've helped people out. When I get my money back, I would like to have more just for the sole purpose of if I need stuff in the future. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's a conversation that's like, I'm not a materialistic person. I don't, I don't want money just for the sole purpose of, you know, buying things for my own liking. It's not the case at all. In general, I just want to have a second sustainable, I guess, business, just so I can be stable whenever it's time to look at other avenues for my future. I mean, I'm 22, and it seems like every day and it seems like specifically now it's like normalized for 30-year-olds to be living with their parents, but also don't want to look at it in that lens either. It's more specifically, I don't want to lose any more money, and I would just prefer to have money for when I need it. And a lot of the time, it's not for it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with personal gain at all. It's solely on family. As you know, it's a tough situation. Everybody is in a tough situation. It's tough for everyone. And I don't know if that's enough to sell you on that. I mean, for the art though, I want to do it for the art too. Um, just being able to get or make money from doing something you love, talking about stuff you love, is really the ideal. Because I have a job, and if I lose that job, well, it's going to be harder to make that content. But in the end, I really just want to, yeah, I really want to just get paid for this talking or doing the stuff that I love. And by no means will I ever sacrifice the content for some specific filter because, you know, God forbid we get censored or something like that. And I'm not talking about in terms of copyright, I'm talking about just terms of topics in general, based on how the world is. And lastly, the last thing to consider is I'm Canadian now, but we'll see how the end of the year happens if I'm going to end up becoming American just by the invasion itself, right? So yeah, I could be talking about this from an outsider's perspective, but by the end of the year, I could be one of you. I I don't seek out a lot of money. That's why I think $10 a month is something that I think it's perfectly agreeable. I think it's good in the sense of it's not asking for much when you get more than what you're paying for too. Obviously, because I will be getting paid to make that content, it's important that that content is up to the standards, which would be probably above my typical issues with YouTube standards in terms of mistakes. Try to keep it as professional in terms of I don't want to have too many mistakes. I don't want to have any issues whatsoever in terms of like editing issues. Uploads tend to be a bitch. Um, However, if I don't know if I yeah, I don't think I had time to announce this, but I used to do all of the editing on my phone, but now I do it on my iPad because my phone just can't take up a whole lot of storage anymore. And I don't know what that is. I think it's because I don't have Spotify on there. Uh, I don't have any big apps on there. I've tried deleting stuff but really at the end of the day, like if I want to make a 40-minute video with some a little bit higher quality videos or footage in it, I can't make that unless I do it on my iPad. I'll wait, whenever the day comes, we'll have to switch to doing everything by computer. But for now, everything will be done on my iPad. So realistically, like if I say that something is probably going to be coming out soon, it'd probably be 3 hours later from that soon. And that's also not a process I want to speed up because I tend to normally rethink my thumbnails. I tend to rethink to add an extra edit in or take something out because it just didn't work. So I'll be definitely thinking more on those lines whenever I do tend to with the other platform make content. But yeah, I think that's it. I don't have much to say. What to expect? I'll be focusing on pretty much everything outside of YouTube right now. I know I've said it before about the Interchangeable Conversations album. That's gonna happen hopefully soon. I want to have it out hopefully this week. But outside of that, it's gonna be prioritizing the art business with TikTok. And if that's not working, I'll also post YouTube Shorts too. Whatever I post on TikTok will be YouTube Shorts. And if that's not working, I'm gonna have to start making more content on TikTok. So I won't be posting much on YouTube. I'll try to work in whenever I don't feel like posting TikTok. I will start the next YouTube video. I don't even remember what the next YouTube video topic was. Music is gonna be off the table for a little bit. That's gonna be later on down the line. But yeah, I'm listing out all these plans now in January, but let's see how it goes into fruition for the rest of the year. We'll see. That's all. Oh no, that's not all. Another thing that I need to mention at some point, I'm gonna mention it now. I don't think people really care about this, but another thing too, at the moment, if you do want to support me in any way, I will post a link to my Shopify in the description. I can tell you right now, I've only ordered one item. I ordered a fleece hoodie, and I'll tell you right now that it's one of the best hoodies that I've owned. Actually, it is the best hoodie that I've owned. Outside of anything that's outside of like like a hoodie with fleece inside of it, like standard pullover hoodies, even zipped hoodies. This is the best damn hoodie that I've worn. You can buy that right now. I don't know how much it's gonna be if you're in the States. Actually, scratch that. If you're not from Canada, the States, or Nigeria, contact me on Instagram. Let me know where you are, so I can fix the shipping. Because right now the shipping is only set for those places for specific reasons, but I can change that to fit it to your own. But yeah, if you want to currently support me, there's stuff on my Shopify. I do have to pull some items because my distributor is not making just a specific kind of shirt anymore. So I'll have to pull those items. But outside of that, if you do want to support me right now, I have some pretty cool stuff. I did all the artwork, no AI used, all mixed media. That's the art that I do. We got shirts, hoodies. I do have a zipped hoodie, and the overall design is from my project Saturday for Skydiving, which was just specifically indie style stuff. So specifically like early to mid 2000s indie, and I also have a little bit of like 2010s indie inspiration in them for the designs. There's also some like anime inspired stuff. Again, all done by me. And the project itself, oh yeah, that's another thing too. I also have to work on. I also have to release my documentary on Saturday for Skydiving. But yeah, if any of that stuff sounds cool to you, some really cool designs on there. That's the best way to support me at the moment. Or if you just want art, contact me on Instagram, and I could do that for you too. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly. Like for me, I think just because I was Canadian, I only had to pay the typical price for the hoodie, which was like 80 something, and it's the best damn $80 I've spent on a clothing item. However, with other stuff, not sure. I actually do encourage. I know sounds weird, but I do encourage you to buy stuff other than the hoodie, just to know if the material is up to the best standards possible. I've only used this distributor. I only started using this distributor last year. I normally did Redbubble for my stuff, and then when tariffs changed, I switched over to TapStitch, and then I opened my Shopify. But from what I've received with my hoodie, I'm more than satisfied with. So I'm curious to know if the other stuff is up to that standard. But yeah, that's it. In terms of that documentary, I'm gonna have to work on that as well. I think that will probably be the last big YouTube upload of this year. Hopefully, or not hopefully. Hopefully within the couple months. It's gonna be a very personal video, but once that's done, it'll definitely give me room to come up with other ideas for stuff on here. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for watching. I'll have the Shopify in the description, and I'll also post my, I'll also post my link tree in the description, just so you can check out everything. But yeah, if you want art, go to my Instagram. If you want to look at my store, everything's in the link tree, but I'll just have the separate between the Shopify and the link tree. I'm not going to post my Instagram. I think that would just be best to keep it in the link tree. But yeah, that's all. Peace.